Hello everyone. So I wanted to make a quick video. It's 10-11 at night and everyone's asleep in my house, and I wanted to make a video type thing where I talk about my experiences with bullying. And I don't know if I'm gonna get emotional in this video or not because it's like completely unplanned like all of my other videos, but I just wanted to talk about it. So it kind of started in the 4th grade because I live in an area in my neighborhood where not very many people are white. I live in the ghetto part of my neighborhood, and I was probably the only actual white kid in my elementary school, at least in my class. Sorry, I have like an acne cream right here and it feels so weird. Like I want to itch it off. That's besides the point. So, it started back in the 4th grade. And I was made fun of because I was white. Which sounds really weird. But I basically was. So my family originated from Canada. But I knew that just because I'm white, they would make fun of me. So knowing the fact that my family comes from Canada, they make fun of me more. So I kept it to myself until like the 8th grade. But, well, my brother's up. You can like hear him. Anyways, so, okay. It started in the 4th grade, and it just got to being called Cracker, which is very surprising. But now that I, like, think about it, like, we had some messed up elementary school kids, and I was a really weird kid, because, I had really weird hygiene, let's just say that, but I was probably 1 out of 3 kids in my entire, like, you know how it's like 3 classes and they're all like the same grade, but like how it's that kind of thing. I was probably 1 out of like 6, 7 kids who were white in my 1 grade. I don't know about the other grades, but I was made fun of because I was weird and I talked funny. As you guys can tell, I can talk kind of funny. Like, I don't know if I have a girly voice or I don't know. But I was made fun of for how girly I was. I'm trans. So I was just like, what? But at the same time, I'm not allowed to touch this, but I really want to. So, anyways. But at the time, I was kind of girly. But that's a whole other video. But I was made fun of because I was girly, and I just talked funny, and how I dressed, because, well, we had uniforms back in elementary school, and it was like white, tan, or some weird dress code thing. I don't know why we did that, but we did. And so, I would wear a lot of similar clothes than I would the day before. And I was made fun of because kids thought I just wore the same thing, but I didn't. So then it escalated a lot in probably 7th grade, because it wasn't really too bad in elementary school, but it started in elementary school. Then as soon as I got into middle school in the 7th grade, it got so intense. So I had a lot of friends who were, I'm a really nice person, and if I see a sad face, I become more sad, because I don't like seeing kids depressed. So I'm really good friends with a lot of emo kids. So, I just keep remembering this experience that happened in the 7th grade, because, yeah, I have these 2 friends, and they're both best friends, and one girl is overweight, and one girl is really short, and she has, like, really weird hair. But they're both, like, extremely emo, which is, like, really interesting. But they both don't go to my school anymore, because they both, one girl moved, and the other one goes to another high school. But anyways, I was really good friends with both of them in middle school, but they weren't the most liked people by everyone else. But I didn't care if people liked me or not. But at the time, I was just like, wait, why am I being hated on because I'm friends with them? But I remember one day, so one girl had a science class with me in middle school, and the other one didn't. And so for a day, when we had a substitute, one girl sloughed her class. Okay, she ditched her class, but in my area we call it sloughed. Okay, so deal with it when I say sloughing, because that's ditching in my language. So she ditched her class and came to our science class, and she told the class that she changed classes, and it just so happens that it was the day that her substitute showed up, and I believed her for some reason. Even though it's like, I'm not surprised if she did that today. But I remember that the teacher said, here's an assignment, go sit wherever you want to. So me and the two girls, and just, like, our friend group just went and sat on a table, and we were just laughing at stuff. We were doing our own thing. The entire rest of the class was in the back of the classroom making fun of us. And that day still sticks with me today, because, like, I noticed that we were being made fun of, but, just, it still gets me, because I just remember my friend, like, all the rest of the class just went, because they were all, like, friends or something, because it was just, like, the popular kids at the time, and they were just in a back table just doing goofy stuff, like, swag fags, basically. And we were just sitting on another table, and it was, like, high school, basically, because, like, it was the popular kids, the swag fags, the cheerleaders, everyone else. It was on the other side of the table, and, like, of the classroom. And they were just calling us names, they were, like, throwing papers at my friends, and I wanted to yell at someone, but that wasn't allowed. So, and, like, the substitute didn't give two shits about us, which I hate to this day. And so, then, in the 9th grade, it just gets worse and weirder by the time goes, because now in high school, when I came out as trans, I started being made fun of for being trans, and that just made it 10 times more difficult to be in, because, okay, I can do this. So, when I came out as trans to my friends, a lot of them were supportive, and there's two incidences I want to tell you about. So, let me try to cope with myself of telling you them. So, one of them is where it was me, and I have, like, a couple new friends that I made in high school. And so, me and this group of friends, I never really hang around them because they're, like, ultimate stoners, and I don't do weed or cigarettes or drink or anything like that. So, I was hanging out with them one day, but I know, like, it's, like, a group of, like, 10 people, and I know, like, 6 of them, so I'm just, like, I'm a little new to this area. And so, one girl, I kind of know her, and she kind of knows me, because we have friends who are friends. We're friends of friends, And she seems like a really cool person at the time. And we had a couple conversations, really. Like, I knew her name and stuff, but I didn't know, like, a lot about her to, like, give her, like, a personality kind of thing. And she didn't know much about me. She just knew that I was trans and my name and just, like, a couple weird other stuff about me. Like, I'm a really weird person. And so, one day, I was on Facebook, and I made a comment or post, like, what was it? It was just a post about being trans or something. Then out of freaking nowhere, she starts messaging me like, you're still a girl, you were born in a girl's body, so you should stay that way, God gave you that body, go die in a hole, and that kind of stuff. I'm not crying, but I just itched. And so, she's friends with, like, a lot of mean people, so I'm terrified for next year, because it's the summertime now, and I feel like next year's just gonna get worse. So, that's my experience with bullying. And now that I think about it, I had a lot of different experiences than some people, because one experience I have with here's the other thing I was getting to about earlier, is one of my friends, he's a really good friend to me. He had, like, the biggest crush on me, like, when I first met him, which I thought was really cute and stuff, but he's straight, so I'm just like, I'm kind of not. Anyways, so, he's, like, a really good friend of mine. Me and him, like, talk every day, whenever we can, and his dad loves me, I swear to God, it's amazing. And my mom loves him. He's, like, really good friends with my mom, which I think is hilarious. And one day, I came out to him that I was trans. And his response wasn't one I wanted or was expecting. Because he was just like, oh, okay. I'm just like, well, thank you. Continue what you're, like, talking about. Because it was just like, oh, okay. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And he was just like, I personally don't care. And I'm like, what do you, like, mean by that? And he's just like, I legit do not care. And I'm like, he just kept going on about it, like, he just didn't care. And the way that he was wording it was just kind of rude sounding. And I'm like, well, what does that mean exactly? And he's just like, I'm still gonna call you this, but I just don't care. And that comment hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm still gonna call you by your birth name. Why? And he knew that, and I make a lot of, like, trans, like, posts on Facebook, and then I come out to someone that are just like, oh, I'm not surprised, dude. Look at your wall on Facebook, dude. But he's been talking to me for the past couple days, and, hang on, let me adjust you. So, he's been talking to me for the past couple days, and I'm trying to get him to realize of what trans actually is, because he was just like, oh, I have a friend named this, and she's also trans, and I'm like, oh, is she an FTM or a MTF? And he's just like, what's the difference? And I'm like, okay, let me explain to you. So I explained to him what it was. Hang on, let me fix my hair. You know what? Who cares? Let's have messy hair, why don't we? And so he was just like, well, she is a girl wanting to be a boy. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Does this person, I use their name, have male or female pronouns? And he was just like, well, she has male pronouns, but she lets me call her him. No, she lets me call him her. And I'm like, okay, then why did you introduce me to this person like they were, like, because he was just like, oh, she wants to be a boy too. And I'm like, you're not wording this very properly. But I didn't say that. I wanted to, though. And so I ended up finding this person's account. That sounds really creepy. He told me their account, and he was just like, oh, just go talk to her. And I'm like, okay. So I was just like, hey, I'm one of this person's friends. They told me to go and talk to you because you're trans too. And they were just like, oh, I'm not friends with that person anymore. I'm like, well, why? And they were just like, oh, because they get my pronouns all incorrect and stuff. And I'm just like, I freaking love you right now. Because I was just like, he just is a dick, kind of. But just people, when someone comes out to you, ask questions. And don't be a complete dick about it. Come on, people. So, anyways. So, I'm pretty sure I'm going to make a video like this, like, next school year. Because I'm, like, really scared because the girl who sent me the long message about I'm gonna go to hell and stuff, she had, her and her friends beat up another friend of mine at my school, so her and her friends beat this person up, and I'm freaking terrified. Peace, Grey Bright, Ed, goodbye.